listeners, it's Peps here with the 2022 AFL Grand Final review and, more importantly, our last show for the beautiful, the magnificent, probably one of the best seasons outside of 2021 and for Jamie 2004 for the AFL. And I'll tell you what, it was a cracker of a weekend. The game wasn't all that flash, but it's not all about that. It's about the festivities. It's about the maritime expedition that happened on the Friday. It's all about the halftime show. It's all about the greatness that was a win for the Geelong Football Club. Now, before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, first there was Nostradamus. Second of all, there was Baba Yanga. There was then Paul the Octopus, and now there's a fourth psychic to go down in history as picking everything to happen in the world, and he happened to do it last weekend. Jamie, the mind reader Wallis, he's not the J-Dog anymore. He's now the mind reader, the mind hunter Wallis. Mate, what a win, what a game, and more importantly, how good were you in our tipped out season preview, picking what was going to happen on grand final day?
Thank you. Just roll the tape, please, Peps, of like the crowd clapping, please. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, I will. Yes, hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Where's the crowd clapping?
Wait.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Peps, I was like a proud father on Saturday, just sitting back going, if we only had a budget and we had assistants to cut the tape up from last week for us and we can just play back everything I said about the Geelong and the why element of why they would win. I had it there, and I even made the big call, Peps, and I think you almost swallowed your tongue when I said this. I said Buddy will be held goalless, and I need to give, and I talked about the back line, I talked about the two, I talked about Stewart and Zach Tui, and I spoke about that. But I did not talk about young Jack Henry.
Well,
he held the boudoir.
Exactly right, because this mob were absolutely sensational.
You got to play it. Such a team.
What a team. So they've won the game against Sydney. They've had a casual... They walked it in for the last 3.5 quarters. It was 81 points, 2013, 130. To a pathetic 8 goals for 52. At least they kicked straight. They were magnificent. In front of 100,000 people at the MCG. The NRL could only dream of having finals like that. It was just... They were immense. They were massive. They were huge. They were big. They were tough. They were unbridled. And that was just Robbie Williams and Delta.
Well, we'll shut up now. Let the rest of the song play.
Oh, we'll just let the plane play.
Amazing.
Just amazing. Like everybody, I could go through the names. Dangerfield, Cameron, Stengel, Guthrie, Hawkins,
Duncan,
Selwood, Scott, and I could keep going and going and going. But we're not going to go and go and go because we've got a bit to talk about. There's so much to go on.
You're playing it twice. What are you doing, Peps? Get that off. Get that off.
This is my favourite. We are the...
Get that off.
I'm predicting the 2023 grand finalists. The Gold Coast Suns. Oh, mate, it was absolutely sensational. The whole thing, it was great to see the AFL get it right. They got it right on so many levels. The pre-game entertainment, my goodness. Did Robbie just turn it on and then to have Delta?
It was the Robbie show with the grand final as a supporting act.
It was. Oh, excuse me. It was Robbie with Delta as the supporting act, and then a couple of blokes running around in coloured Guernseys for a couple of hours after that because, my goodness, who wasn't wanting to spin in the chair? Like, dead set.
Yep.
I went onto boohoo.com and I've ordered a Delta outfit for my wife.
You've gone for the pinky sparkly.
I've gone pinky sparkly.
Very good, very
she
good.
Better shape up. because she needs this man, and my
Hey,
heart
Peps.
is set on her.
Peps, how was your grand final day? What would you get up to?
Grand final day, very interesting grand final day. Got a puncture in the car.
Oh, that's a bad start.
Great way to start. Had a multi, didn't even get near it. I smoked some meat for 12 hours.
Yeah.
That pork came out delicious. Pork rolls. Went over to good old Bozza, 5-time green jacket winner for the East Keeler golf trip. Went to his place with his son because his wife and son were at the grand final. Went to his place. We watched it. 5 minutes in, I called it. It was over. And it was. I literally called it 5 minutes in. When they kicked their fourth, I said it's over. He's gone, geez, you've gone the early crow. I've gone, hello, my friend. It was over.
You didn't want to line up with the crowd at 2 a.m. in the morning, Saturday?
What for?
To the ticket.
For the MCC?
Yeah.
Nah, still restricted member. Next year, I think I'm going full member. And when I go full member, I will be lining up.
I think they were giving out members that are restricted anyway. When I tickets that are restricted, I think they sent an email out to people.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pay $170. Imagine I paid $170 for that. I know another way I could spend $175 in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, big boy?
No, quite one here. I went for I decided to turn my Saturday into an absolute monster day. I ended up doing 180 Ks on the bike just to really set myself for the grand final. So I had the house to myself, I had the home theatre there, no one was around, and I thought I'll watch the footy, I'll maybe fall asleep to it, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it, and I was barracking for the complete opposite reason to probably everyone else. I was hoping.
Oh, no, I was hoping for a good, honest game.
Well, I wasn't.
And within the first 5 minutes, we knew we weren't going to be getting a good, honest game.
I wasn't. I was hoping for a defeat, and I started to lick my lips at the end of the first quarter, thinking we're on for a plus 119 here.
You were hoping that your 2007 record was going out the window.
I was excited.
Craigie Jones on the chat would have been hoping that it was going out the window too.
I thought it was on, and Tom Hawkins was killing me. He kept missing set shots. He was kicking them from ruck situations, but just kept missing set shots. But Pep's quiet one for me. Very quiet one for me. I was glad that I saw it. I actually didn't mind the game in the end. Geelong, you've just got to sit back, Peps, and you look back at those athletes like Kobe and LeBron and the Patriots when they had Brady and the Bulls of all the 90s. You've got to appreciate what they're doing. You can't not.
What, the fact that they're old, or the fact that what they did as a club?
Geelong, it's just been a season about Geelong.
It has.
And it's incredible to see them dominate the week before and then to come out and blow Sydney off the park within the first 15 minutes of that game. You've just got to sit back and just be like, that is incredible.
When was the last time we saw a demolition like that in a grand final outside of last week?
You can get stuffed.
2021, and I could put that DVD on.
No, the demolition was most recent history, and grand finals have a shocking tradition of having a close game in the third quarter.
4 or 5 have had an average losing margin of 48 points or something. So the prelims are close, and then they just get blown completely away when it comes to the grand final.
Yep,
it's understandable.
GWS and Richmond was the last one that got completely blown out of the water.
Yep.
But then prior to that, we can't talk about that.
Grand final.
We can't talk about it. Yeah, we can't talk about the grand final before that one.
We can. But they were just brilliant. Isaac Smith wins Normie. He was sensational. You know what's even worse though, J-Dog?
What's that?
Did you have mates who have multis?
Probably.
Yeah, you know everybody has a multi grand final day.
Mm.
There's nothing worse than when one of your mates sends a series of about 5 multis through.
Oh, yes.
And they all come in.
Fuck.
And they clean up for about $2,000.
Oh, were they different multis or all combined?
Different multis. One was 200, one was 300, one was 400, etc.
Yep.
Because he picked Tom Hawkins to be the first goal kicker.
Arsey.
And that just nuked them so Cara Moss, your husband Lee, won $2,000 on the weekend.
No, it wasn't Lee, was it?
Yeah, Leroy. So Leroy, Cara, he won $2,000. So go over to him and check his account and go and get something beautiful for your birthday. And if anybody does know Lee Moss in Perth, tell his beautiful wife that Lee cleaned up grand final day, because he won't. I've dobbed him in. Can I get into some spins and magnets for the last time for 2022?
Yes, spin some magnets, Peps. Talk about it.
I would love to spin some magnets. Let's go with the bad ones, because I want to finish the season off on a high.
Haley off Ellie Marathon. Drinkers piss.
Okay. First and foremost, halftime entertainment. How
You've gone there.
shit was it? Well, that's the type of stuff that we normally serve up as pre-game. But they've gone out with Delta. They've gone out with Robbie, blown it off the park. They've gone to the football game. It's not tight. We need something to keep us interested, and they roll that stuff out at halftime.
Well, let's break it down, Peps.
Oh, do we have to?
Temper Trap
It
started
broke down
strong.
itself.
Temper Trap started strong. I was like, beautiful, bit of sweet disposition. That's all the only song that I know they sing.
It's the only song that they've got.
The guy got there with the voice. I'm like, this is good. And then it just unfolded. It was terrible, the rest of it.
Goanna.
I thought Goanna was supposed to be reuniting. It wasn't Goanna. The guy didn't even sing. There are
That was
other
like
people
the
did.
Little River Band. Doesn't even have any members of the Little River. They've just got the name.
It's like saying, I'm going to go see Queen. Oh, you know, Freddie Mercury's dead. Like, it's not Queen anymore.
Oh, no. Queen would be there. But the issue that Queen would have is that it'd be like having Queen with just the drummer. There's no Brian May at all. They've just got the drummer.
It was, it was interesting. And look, G-Flip, I told you before the show started, I actually quite like G-Flip. But as I said to you, if they wanted Jet, just get Jet. Don't make it a karaoke session.
And seriously, if you want to tell everybody you got a Calvin Klein sponsorship, pull your pants up, Dale.
And just scream "Go Pies" into the microphone.
Oh, go Pies. 1 week late. That's pathetic.
I was a little bit disappointed in the halftime, but I mean, when the pre-show starts with Robbie, that's a hard act to follow at the same time.
Oh, well, it did. It did because Delta. She was a harder act.
So Peps, okay, you've had halftime on there. Halftime, what were you going to see, Peps? Halftime. See, just bring back Robbie.
Just bring back the Oz Kick kids and the halftime sprint. Maybe the super kick. Just do something.
Well, the halftime sprint now runs around the 50 arc.
Shit house. Heck, they're even going woke with the sprint.
What's with the sprint? You have to now follow an arc.
Oh God! How can they? They probably would have got the arc out. It was woeful. All right. So my second thing.
Yes.
See the grand final parade? I was rapt to have the grand final parade back.
Oh, another thing I called last week.
It was exciting.
Another thing I called.
Magnificent. The boats on the Yarra would have to be the biggest maritime disaster since Australia 3 sank 10 years ago. What were they thinking? Like, Gil, thank God you had Robbie and Delta to save the day because the bookends were putrid.
Just sucked all the life out of it.
All these people standing on the Princess Bridge looking over to say, yeah, we're going to see them. No, they didn't even go up that far.
And couldn't go near the players at all. They all had to be 100 metres off the bank.
It's just shit house. Like, we just, no, keep it simple. Keep their traditions you can't, they're not going to be doing that again.
Just Hiluxes up the street.
Hiluxes, you know what they should have done? They should have got the James Bond Lotus Esprits and had them all drive out of the water like in...
Just get back to the old utes, going down the main street where people can actually throw streamers and have a bit of fun.
And Hiluxes. Got to get some Hiluxes. Exactly. Yeah. Just keep it simple, so they can sign autographs, kids cheering, balloons are flying.
Don't get pontoons.
Pardon?
Someone said it's the... It's as bad as look as the old Batmobile car in the 1990 grand final. Angry Anderson's the pontoons on the Yarra.
Nah, nothing beats that.
Nothing beats Angry Anderson's
I love
Batmobile.
Angry Anderson. Like I don't mind a bit of rose tattoo, but that tops the cake.
Bound for glory. That's pretty good.
Loved a bit of Bound for Glory. So they were the main two ones that stood out for me. And the third, get dragged, was Sydney. They were putrid. Disgusting.
Everyone?
Waste of my time. It just ruins grand final day for you. Because it's over. It was 5 minutes in, it was over, J-Dog. 5 minutes in, it was over.
And what I didn't mind it, Peps. I didn't mind that, actually.
Nah, look, you sit down for a grand final, like I said, it's, you're getting yourself all excited just for sitting. This is the game. This is the game. And who's going? And then when it's over, it's fizzer. At least like last year, like one team got in front and they kicked 8 goals and they blew away and it was bang, 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 and it was all exciting and they couldn't replicate it. And I think this has set Sydney up for a really challenging 2023. Are they going to be able to get back from that? I don't know. But can I go with the good stuff, J-Dog?
Of course you can,
I have
Peps.
to go with the good stuff because for the last time we're going to be hearing this.
3 votes.
Oh, that's Demetrio, isn't it? Doesn't matter. So
You need
somebody else go.
You need Gil McLaughlin's soundbit where it's like Christian Protractor.
Protractor. And do I need the face? Yeah, that's Protractor. Fuck me. All right. First thing, I have to give a bit of a shout out to 2 guys. Now, these 2 guys are on. Actually, there's 3 of them. It's 3 blokes that are always tuning in every single week. Okay, they're on the chat. One is Craigie Wessels. Now, Craigie Wessels, he is in the United States of America, and he is an absolute superstar. Love him. And he's been following the Cats, and finally, a yank on the footy gets to see his team win a flag. The fact he was up early morning to watch everything, awesome. So, congratulations to him.
Yep.
The second one, I got to go to my mate Justin Parker. Parko, he's on there. He's given us Parko's always given us those horse racing tips that never come in. No one ever comes back the week after and go, Parko, good tip. No one. So he's an absolute star. Played footy with him. Had to keep his mouth shut a little bit because he tended to get himself in a bit too many blues. But he's a mad, passionate Geelong supporter, and he got in as well too. All right. Second thing, the third one I have to thank is because he's another Geelong supporter. So I'm just getting into the Geelong supporters at the moment. Is Cheesy. Justin Calvert. I still owe him a 6-pack of Cougars from back in 1999. It was a Melbourne Geelong game. Still haven't paid him back. I'll eventually get around to it when Narelle gives me some pocket money. But he took his daughter to see the game, and if you can get on, his Facebook page, he's got some of the best close-up shots of the players and the celebrations from the game. So Justin Calvert, Justin Parker, and Craigie Wessels, Geelong supporters through and through. Love ya. Last one I have to mention is my best mate, Chris M., my best man. He and his 3 boys, absolute mad nutters when it comes to Geelong, and some of their photos that I've seen, having a chat to them after the game, absolutely pumped. So, love it. Just, I'm wrapped for you.
Right for the Geelong boys.
Right for the Geelong boys. Right. Second thing I want to give 3 votes for, because it's all 3 votes. I've got to thank a few people who just join us every single week. They love it on the chat. I'm going to go through some names. And if I forget you, I apologise, but I've got to shout them out. Craigie Jones, he's on there. He loves his port every single week. I love everything he does.
Passionate.
I've also got the Roo Boy. He spins some absolute fluff. And Jamie and I sometimes get off these episodes and goes, what was Roo Boy on tonight? But without you, you wouldn't be there as well too. Another one I have to thank is Donna J. She's always on there, getting stuck into the D's, loves her Richmond Tigers. Tori Vickery loves it. Don't forget Tommy Roker from up there in Gold Coast. Buzz is always here. Fang Ali, Whistles himself. Just everybody who's been a Lace Outlaw who's joined us this year. Oh, Charlie Keegan. Your club is still shit, which is Essendon, but you might have a coach by the end of the week. You never know. But without all of these guys and the many more that don't join us on the chat but listen to us week in, week out, we don't have a show without you. We've been doing this for 5 years. Next year will be number 6. And we keep doing it because we love talking footy, but you guys really make it all that it's worth. So I just want to give a big shout out to you guys and to you girls out there as well. Third thing.
3 votes.
Pardon?
Third thing, 3 votes.
Third 3 votes. Like I said, I have to mention the pre-game. I have to mention Robbie. I have to mention Delta because they just got it right. It was simple. No need to dazzle it up. Just make it a song and dance and let the entertainer entertain. It was beautiful to see.
I put a thing on one of the Facebook things on something on Facebook, whatever it was. I said, Robbie got it right. Get on the stage, sing your effing hits, and then F off after it. Don't go in there trying to muck around with your song and bring 16 other people to sing verses and change the words and change the lyrics and change the way it sounds. Get on there, sing your hits, and bugger off.
Yep, exactly. Andy Bridges joined us again. He loves a bit of Bombers 2023 premiers. Maybe in the Little League, fellas. Maybe in the Little League. But outside of that, like it's been a belter of a season.
One of the best.
It's been up and down. It's just, it was just awesome. His tribute to Johnny Farnham, his tribute to Warney. It's just those little things that just make him go, class act.
He is the entertainer.
And he said
in his song.
Delta look like a Redskin.
She looked great.
She looked great.
She sounded great.
I told you a number of weeks ago when she sang the national anthem, like I'd spin the seat. I reckon I would have broken the seat.
Yep. No, she sounded good. She sounded good, and it was a good thing. I mean, it would have been great
How is she
to
still
see.
single?
It would have been great to see Kylie.
Oh,
It would have been.
It
but
would have.
you know what? I'm happy with Delta.
yep. Oh, love it. Love it. So, you know what? Just the 3 votes, and I've got to give 3 votes to you, J-Dog. You're the co-host with the most. I do this every single week with you because you're an absolute legend. You're the good cop to my bad cop, and without you, we don't have a show. So it's just everything. It's just I love it, and I just wanted to share those 3 votes because it was the last game of the season, and we're going to have a chat about it in a moment. What really stood out, but and I have to throw one more out. I know Joel Selwood, like he was the ducker, but I've got a much more in-depth likability for this guy after what I've just experienced over the last couple of weeks.
Yep. Okay, so you're starting to come around.
Yeah, I've come around. As a person, he is an absolute gem. Like just some of the things he did. I don't know if you've seen some of the footage that, he gave the Oz Kicker of the Year his footy boots.
Mm-hmm.
He gave, after they finished, he got all the Oz Kickers together and had a photo with them.
Yep.
Then he's going around the ground and he sees the club icon Sammy in the crowd. Says, "Come on, mate, jump on the field with us." Yep. And he's just a smile. It's just those little things that make you go, you know what? He just seems like a good guy.
Yep.
And nobody has a bad word about him.
With also,
whether he ducks and so forth, that's another thing. But you know what? As a person, if my daughter brought Joel Selwood home, I'd be concerned because she's 13. But as a parent, I'd be wrapped.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you, Peps. I'm with you. I decided to turn my negativity towards Joel and Hawko and all those things a long time ago and just go, I've just got to appreciate the Stars when you see them.
Yeah. And you know what? They're the oldest grand final team ever.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about the game.
All right. So 5 minutes in, it was over.
That's it. All right, everyone. For what it have a good night. Great show. Good night. See you next year.
I'm here till Thursday. Try the veal. It was done. You called it all. You said that they wouldn't fire a shot. I've got to read that out in a minute. Craigie Wessels has sent something through, and he just looks awesome. I've got to read this out. So he, they were just awesome on the field. They were that was the most ruthless I've seen them. Like no one would have got near him. And Collingwood supporters, if you think that you would have got near him, you probably would have only lost by 10 goals.
Yeah.
Because they would have smashed you from pillar to post. Danger was still can't kick. Magnificent. Isaac Smith off the wing. What can you say to a bloke? He's got 4 flags now, Jamie. There's not many 4-time premiership players ever. He's got 4.
Yeah.
They were just, all the way down Dangerfield. I think De Koning set it up in the first quarter as well. So he was brilliant.
Yeah, Jack Henry was amazing. Jack Henry was amazing on Buddy.
Did Buddy play?
He did not let Buddy get an inch towards it, and the way that back line really combined and they swapped partners and swapped around and really teamed up on those on Buddy and that. Amazing. Like, it made De Koning work very easy. It made Jack Henry's work really easy. It was just such a good game by them.
Like, Stewart just did his thing. It was, Hawkins had his kicking boots on. Mm-hmm. Cameron really hasn't fired in the last 2 finals, the 2 most important finals. What does that say? Stengel comes and kicks another 4. They were just...
How was Stengel's banana from 50 out?
Does Adelaide sit back and just go, how could we not get this guy right?
Yeah.
It's just everything about Geelong. I think a lot we don't like them because we're just jealous.
Yeah, 100%.
We're just jealous of everything that they do.
100%.
I've even got a liking to Chris Scott more this year. Like I said, as soon as he got that tan and that hair grew out a bit, he hasn't been as in the box. He says it how it is, and I like it.
Yep.
I just like it. But even their bit players, Close was. I thought he was actually pretty good as well too.
Yeah.
Graham Myers, not as much. Didn't have to really do.
Didn't have to.
I will have to say one thing though. You know when they give the ratings for each player,
Yeah.
they put Brendan Parfitt in there, but they had Max Holmes' photo in the Herald Sun.
Did they?
And then the quote next to it was, "Did we get it right?" No. Like, just to add more to this poor bloke who got dropped the night before the grand final, the day before the grand final, on the day of the grand final, say, "Nah, champ. Yeah, not good. Not good at all." Outside of that, we know Sydney were awful, but there was only really 2 that stood up. I'd probably say 3 at the most. Chad Warner, he will win a Brownlow one day. He was, don't. He was exceptional. He was exceptional, Jamie.
He kept trying.
There was nobody. There was a play, I think, in the 4th quarter, and he gets it, gives it off, gets it back, balks, slots it. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. I just love everything what he does. You got old Chatty Warner, Robbie Fox down back, like he was the only one potentially trying to stop anything coming through, and Luke Parker probably. Luke Parker didn't. He was on a rope behind Dangerfield all day.
Yeah, Robbie Fox
he
got
had a crack, though.
Robbie Fox got ragdolled all day.
He got ragdolled all day.
He got smashed all day.
Yeah,
But how can you not?
Crack, though. He had a crack.
65 forward, 50 inches to the 30 for Sydney. Like, Geelong just had that just coming in every minute, it felt like.
Yeah, there was definitely some chiropractic action needed and some for his neck because the amount of times it would have been just looking at going over the top of his head.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really much to stand up for as well.
No.
Too. Can I really quickly read something out? So,
Sure.
Craigie Wessels, superstar, told you that before. He actually said, he sent this through. So, did you hear that Joel Smith contacted Sammy's parents? Now,
Joel Selwood.
Joel Selwood. Now, Sammy, if you don't know, Sammy's got Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he's like he's their water boy, just like an icon at the club, right? Yep. The players love him. He loves the players. Just one of those things. He contacted Sammy's parents and said he's going to bring him back in the morning. And Sammy spent the rest of the evening with the footy club, and then he brought him back afterwards. Like that, that's just awesome. And then if you think Geelong couldn't get any more awesome, they turn up for Mad Monday, dressed as old people, and it was awesome. If you get the footage, check it out. If I can get a link to it, they're all turned up in a retirement village van with their A-frames and their walkers and scooters with makeup on and wigs, etc. as old people, because everybody said that they were too old. And then for all the people who said that they're woke and that they picked on the elderly and picked on all, can you have a laugh once in a while, please? Just have a laugh.
Someone from 3AW called up and said that they didn't find picking on the elderly funny. And I'm like, once again, like, you just need to have a laugh. Like, obviously you haven't been listening to the footy landscape for the last 24 months.
No, they've got no idea at all, J-Dog. Absolutely no idea.
And they get upset. They get upset that all these kids and all these, things, and yet when something upsets them about just doing a bit of a joke around old people.
Yeah.
And once again, it's not even at old people. It's just that everyone called them an old team.
Old and slow, and they should be in a retirement home.
I know Geelong are brilliant at the Mad Monday dress-ups. I think this is their best yet. Ever.
Exactly. But J-Dog, let's just go through a few of the statistical analysis of the game. 395 disposals to 304. You think, okay, not too bad. They kicked the ball 253 to 166. So there was no especially early on, they weren't allowing Sydney to bring the heat to them, because that's where I said that they would catch them out.
Yeah.
If Sydney bring the heat, they're tackling pressure. Mate, you can't tackle a kick. That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Quite low on the handballs, 142 to 138. But have a look at this. Inside 50, 65 to 32.
Yeah.
So they've doubled what Sydney have done in a grand final. Free kicks, for whatever reason, people were whinging about free kicks. It was only one difference at the end of the day. They smashed them in the hitouts by 20. Clearances went 4 of Sydney, but they didn't do anything with them. Centre clearances, Sydney actually had more centre clearances, 14 to 13, but the damage that they did outside, it reminded me of the end of the third quarter last year. Petrarca, Oliver, Sparrow, just bringing it out the front of the square. Stoppage clearances, once again, they got their hands on it first, but they didn't do anything with it.
Just look at the marks, Peps. Look at the marks on our run sheet there. 124 versus 62.
For the game.
For the game. And then 17 marks inside 50 to 4.
Oh. But, contested possessions. You've been smashed by 41. Uncontested possessions, you've lost by 64. And you've had 20 less turnovers.
Yeah.
So you got your hands on it more. You did more with it. And more importantly, you didn't get the opposition the opportunity to get it back. Yeah, it was just a smashing from pillar to post, and they led the whole way. There's not much more you can say about this team. They were simply brilliant.
Well, as I said, they were the Red Bull to this year's season of the Formula One team. Like, they were so far ahead, and I think it would almost be a bit of an injustice if they didn't win in this fashion, because I've been used to it for the last 17 weeks now of them just absolutely crushing teams.
And I did say they had a soft run. Like, if you go back and have a look at it, and why I thought they would fall over, I actually said that they'd only played 4 top 8 teams in their 13-win streak, and 2 of those were the Dogs, and one of them were the D's and the Tigers. It wasn't exactly a hardened preparation going into finals. Didn't matter.
No.
It didn't matter. What are they, 17 wins now in a row?
Something like that. Something incredible.
They only have to win the first 7 of the year, or the first 8 to get the all-time record.
Yeah, right.
So they're not far off it. But
well, there's going to be... From here, let's talk about some of the players that look like who could be retiring or very much winding it down. So we obviously the Joel Selwood thing was going around the ground pretty heavily on the day.
Yeah. If they had lost, would we be having this talk?
Probably not.
Exactly. So why are we having this talk?
Because I'm interested, because I like the fact if they do decide to hang up their boots now, that is a fantastic place to do it. 4 premierships.
Yep. The
most winningest captain in history. The most winningest captain in Geelong's history. It's not a bad place to hang up. Tom Hawkins, I think he's got 1 or 2 more maybe, but I don't know if he's going to hang it up. Duncan, Isaac.
Dude, he's getting big. He's getting better as the years go on, Hawko. Hawko's got another 3 years in him minimum. He doesn't have to get out of the forward 50. He's a cracking rig. Like, no one can get near him. He's just a beast.
I wonder how long he can go on for. I wonder how long this Geelong team going for. I wonder if Joel will go on for another year or another year or 2. Like, I wonder how long this team stays together. It's a cracking team because I know Peps we spoke about it last week. This team actually now only has 2 or 3 players from that 2000 and something grand final. They've managed to put a whole new team in there around those players.
I think and look, we keep saying it, but once again, this is a statistical anomaly with this team.
It's only because of 3 players.
Not really. There's 12 players, 29 and above, I think.
Yeah, that's ages. They've got another 3 or 4 years at least.
They don't. And this is the thing. When it hits quick. It just hasn't hit yet. And I know we've said that.
Are you writing off Geelong again at the end of this?
Of course I'm going to write them off.
You are crazy.
Mate, if Selwood finishes up.
Yep.
If Smith finishes up.
Duncan.
Hawkins maybe not. Duncan, yes. Dangerfield to a degree. Like, when it hits these guys hard, it is going. They just had a great run with injuries. That's the other thing as well too.
They've managed them well.
They did manage them well, but you can only go so far. And so I think they extracted everything they possibly could out for this premiership. I just don't know if they've got another one in them.
Peps,
And
I thought you learnt your lesson.
Unlike any of the other shows who will, pat them on the back, I don't know if they've got another one in them, J-Dog.
You just said you've written them off all this time and you'd never do it again and you're just going to write them off after winning a premiership.
I'm not writing them off as a club. I don't think that this group, if Selwood goes down, Dangerfield goes down, Duncan goes...
Maybe Isaac
three,
Smith.
Maybe Isaac. Like, that's 4 you have to replace.
I'm very confident they would.
I don't think they can go back to back.
Ooh, I'm a bit sus on that, but...
No. Look, remember, this time last year we were saying, who's going to get near Melbourne? Who's going to get near him, J-Dog? Really?
Well, no one did until
no
halfway.
One did
until the bye.
Until halfway, and then injuries just smashed them.
Then the AFL got you.
What?
The AFL bye got you.
The AFL what?
The AFL bye.
Oh, no. Injuries got us.
Yep.
Injuries and bad man management. But that's another day for another song. But they were great. I'm more worried about Sydney, how they're going to react to this. Like, that was a big loss. I remember Chad Corn said when they had their big loss in 2004. Seven, sorry. That put them back a number of years as well, too, the scarring. Of like,
well, they never reviewed it, they said.
Pardon?
They never spoke about it. They never actually reviewed it. They never spoke about the day.
I think you have to look at it and go, we got that wrong. Where did we get it wrong?
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be a big review, but hey, we have to address it. Like, you got to address the elephant in the room. They were soft. Nothing worked. They were definitely outcoached on the day.
Yeah,
it was just a bad day all round.
Yeah,
can't really say much more than that.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things. Like, sometimes you just play a way better team, and as I said, I think they were outcoached. As good and as much as lauded as Longmire's been about his coaching nous and changing things up and really throwing some different looks at different coaches to have a look at what to think about. I think this time, that the sheer number of stars across Geelong's team just blocked all those moves. There was
deer in the headlights. Like, why did it take late in the second for Isaac Heaney to be moved into the centre square?
Yep.
If Parker took out Dangerfield a week earlier in the season, why didn't they just, instead of tagging him, just go head to head? Like, there was just some changes that didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Playing Reid, like, it just goes to show the calibre of the club. Max Holmes passed every test, and the club went, no, we're not playing him. Reid looked lame, and it bit him in the ass. Halfway through the second quarter, he was out.
Yeah, I think by the end of the first quarter, he was just hobbling. I think the first quarter, he was hobbling.
Yeah, he didn't even look right, and you think, why?
Yeah.
They basically played with one person less, but it wouldn't have mattered because one person didn't lead to 81 points.
No.
So yeah, that was the game. It was all over. Like I said, Stengel kicked 4. Isaac Smith got Norm Smith. That's season 22, mate. Done. That's the season, and now the real season for the people who finish outside of Geelong is coming up, starting pretty much on Friday, which is free agency, and then trade week kicking in as well too. So,
how would you rate this season versus last season, Peps?
Last season was
I know you had your premiership win, but as an overall season of neutral.
As an overall season, from a closeness perspective, especially in the top 8, I'd rate it a 9. Couldn't fault it. From an umpiring perspective, probably one of the worst they've had.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't rate the umpiring at all, and I'm not the only one. The whole stand rule has peed a few people off, the fact that it's just so inconsistent. You got to remember, we had dissent at the start of the season as well too. That went nowhere. They were talking about, people who don't get rid of the ball, within a 360-degree spin will be paid holding the ball. Not paid. The whole hands in the back went out the window as well too. The head high went out the window when they were blatantly there. So I think it made it harder for the people to watch. Mind you, some of the games, and I reckon probably the last 6 weeks of the season were probably the best 6 weeks of a final season I can only remember. And I'd even go as far back as that was the best round 23, just with everything that happened. Mm-hmm. I'd almost go back to 1987. Now, you weren't even born then, were you?
I was, but I was very, very
How
little.
old were you in 1987?
4, 5, 6, 7. 3?
Yeah.
Just
in
three.
1987, basically every position in the final five changed. Melbourne had to beat the Western Bulldogs at the Western Bulldogs home ground. Geelong had to lose to Hawthorn at Cardinia Park. So every game meant something, and every position in the final five changed that day.
Yeah.
It was very, very similar to this weekend. You had Carlton, who were in the final eight all year, fall out the last weekend of the year.
Yeah.
Melbourne had to go to Brisbane to win, and they did that. The Pies and Blues, an absolute corker of a game. It was just a really great finish to the season. And up until pretty much the grand final, it was great finals all the way through. Upsets, cracking football, close games. You can't really fault it whatsoever. But like I said, the umpiring has a lot to answer for, and it's going to be really difficult now if Brad Scott takes over at the Essendon Football Club, which will be interesting to sort of see how Essendon people are going to react to it. Some are very happy with it from what I've been reading. Some of them not too sure.
Yeah. And what's happening with Gill? Anything about that yet?
It doesn't matter, mate. I think they want him for the 2032 Olympics. That's what they're saying up there. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who takes over. I've got no idea. Nothing at the moment. He got the rights deal through, so he's got himself a nice little bonus check coming through for that one.
Absolutely.
I think he's been good.
Do we want to talk? What do you want to talk about now, Peps?
I want to talk about this big boy.
Here comes the new kid on the block.
You played the song too far in.
Make something up until I get it right.
All right. So as Peps is preparing some of that stuff there, I think we're going to talk about a little bit about trades, Peps, as you're playing around with the thing there, because as we know, as Peps said before, we buried the lead a little bit, but we are about to go into what Peps used to refer to his favourite time of the season before his team became actually half decent again. It was
exactly
a time
right.
of the season where Peps made such predictions to me, such as... Go on, Peps, what'd you tell me about one of your coaches?
What about him?
One of your... Hey? Not Goodwin, not Goodwin.
Mark Neal.
Mark Neal is going to be one of the best things for the Melbourne Football Club. He is going to kick the asses and get everyone in shape at that club. And you said that to me in
Was it 2012,
something,
2011?
Yeah, it was something like that.
2012-ish?
It was very funny. You were like, this is. I remember you saying, Peps, across the partitions in the office, you going, this is the time of the season I love.
I was like, break the tank. This is the best thing. We've got Mark Neal. Yeah.
You were so very excited, Peps, because trade season is when you do your best work.
I love trade season. Because I get the dollar bills. Or in case of Isaac Rankin, $1.5 million dollar bills.
Is that the talk?
Yeah, that's the talk. And I'm about to give you some highlight. I've held this off because there's been so much fluff. And I'm going to give you some fluff right now. Alrighty. So, when it comes from a trades perspective, we only know what we know at the moment. All right. So let me go through some of the highlights going through at the moment. If you've got some for me, throw them through on the chat ski. J-Dog, what you've got, tell us about it as well too. All right. So Tom Berry from the Brisbane Lions, if you remember, didn't get a game in the final, the prelim this year. Is on the Suns' horizon. So the Suns are having a bit of a look at him at the moment.
Okay.
Jack Bowles apparently looking off. Is Brisbane sort of looking at him at the moment, which is interesting. Also, Essendon looking at him. Once again, Essendon, St Kilda, Collingwood and Carlton are the only four teams that apparently are looking at anybody at this moment. Adam Tomlinson had a physical with the Western Bulldogs, but they're saying they're not interested in him.
Yeah.
Well, would you
Perhaps is there any news about some of the big trades? Like, what about people like Rory Lobb? Any news around Rory Lobb?
Yeah, Rory Lobb. I think they want a second rounder for him.
Okay.
And also, if what's his name, Lowe goes, they want a second rounder for him. So there's a bit of interesting there. Jordan De Goey, for whatever reason, has not signed his contract.
Well, I wonder why that would be.
I wonder why, because they're trying to put in behavioural type of clauses in his contract, and apparently they can't even do that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one as well. I don't know where that's going to go. Tom Mitchell looks like he's going to Collingwood.
Oh,
Another
okay.
ones, like Bobby Hill and Dan McStay. But to get that, they're going to have to get rid of Grundy. Grundy looks like he's going over to the D's.
Well, let's talk about that because
Yep.
West Coast have stopped talking about Luke Jackson now with you guys. They've said they're going to... Well, yeah, it is if you want to get Grundy into your club.
No, it's not because Fremantle will still have to pay up 2 first-rounders for him. And I still don't think that's enough. I think I'd want 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder.
So Luke Jackson is definitely going to Freo?
He's definitely going to Freo. And Freo might have to do something with Port Adelaide as well, too, to try and get their first-round pick and do something, batch up some picks, give it over to you guys. They get it, give it over to us. Because we have to give something over for Grundy, which we've spoken about. Now, the Isaac Rankin one is apparently a very, very large front-ended contract, with the first year being around about $1.5 million.
That's a lot of money.
That's been the talk of the town being thrown around.
Yep.
But then obviously drops off quite considerably after that. But gee, that's a lot of cash
Yep.
for a guy who's had his injury issues and is going to have a pretty big target on his back going down into Adelaide. Mind you, though, if you have Rankin, Thilthorpe, Walker, Fogarty, Rankin, and that other guy they picked up in the draft last year, and I've gone blank with his name. Not bad. Not bad. Craigie Jones says Port want their first pick for Philippou. You may not need to get a first. Is Philippou a draft selection or a father-son selection, Jadon? Because I can't remember any Philippous or academy players. Because if he's an academy player, they can bundle up their picks to get the points to get him. So that might be something there. I'm not too sure.
Don't know. Quinton Arkle, Peps.
Yeah, delisted. Interesting one, but if you have a look at how big they are and how deep they bat, I can understand why he's left. I thought he played a lot more games than I think it was 51 games or something along those lines with
Is he a name or is he quality? I mean, when I saw him play, I've seen him rip games apart, but I've also seen where he just hasn't done anything. So I don't know if he's just more name, not output.
I think it's more above the shoulders with him, my friend.
Yep. Would you have a crack? Would you have a crack at Mitch Robinson? Is there a club out there for Mitch Robinson?
Yeah, I reckon a North would have Mitch Robinson.
Okay.
He seems... I'd love a Mitch Robinson at my team. He's probably just a bit too old for what we need.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've got to appreciate more of Mitch Robinson. He just goes out and has a crack every week. And clubs need those type of players. And you just know what you're going to get with him. And he hasn't been their worst this year.
No.
And his blog is very, very funny, I must admit.
I haven't read the blog. So you said about Berry.
His vlog, sorry.
Oh, vlog.
That's a video blog.
Oh.
Yep.
For those fancy kids out there.
Yeah, for all the fancy kids as well, too.
Anyone else out there? Billy Frampton from Adelaide looks like he's probably going to go for a third round pick somewhere, which I mean, it's not surprising. Probably hasn't just got a spot there.
Port Adelaide want a first rounder for Carl Amon. First round compo pick for Carl Amon. Are they serious?
I think we'll get that anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I think we will.
Just because of what's being offered to him?
Yeah, contract and
Or you
contract
just
and
use
time.
that as your first
Yeah, correct.
pick. Yeah. So you don't need it, Craigie Jones.
I reckon
Jaden
we'll get
Hunt still
that.
hasn't got a contract for next year, which I think would be a bit of a shame. Because he was pretty good, especially that Carlton game towards the end of the year. His running carry is something... Melbourne don't have enough speed, and that's what they need to bring in as well. There's just bits and pieces. You got Hopper and Taranto going to Richmond. Tanner Braun wants to go to Geelong. We mentioned Bobby Hill wants to go and have a look at Collingwood. There's a lot out there at the moment. But just jump on afl.com.au, listen to Trade Radio, get them talk fluff.
Just wait until just before Christmas and they'll actually start the final week. I'll actually give you what you need to know. The rest is all just...
I think there's 13 days of the trade period and nothing happens for the first 12 and a half.
Yep, what'll go in there is Geelong are actually... Once again, it's a Geelong praise show. They win the grand final. They're allowed to have a bit of praise for us, Peps, even though you hate them. Geelong just get in there and get trades done. That's what I like about Geelong.
Sydney do the same thing as well, too.
They just get in there, make it work.
Some clubs play hardball. I don't understand it. Like, what freaks me out, there's some clubs, Fremantle and Essendon, especially Essendon, the players can't get a game whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it comes to he's a early second rounder. He's got gout. and alopecia, and he can't get a kick. But he's an early first rounder. He hasn't played a game, but he's got potential. Early second. Like, you just got to be a bit realistic. Like, make it win for us. So there's some clubs that people like trading with. There's some that don't. Just get it done. Don't give yourselves a reputation of hard asses for don't need to, because most times it's going to kick you in the ass as well.
Yep. I think next year's going to be a big year for a lot of players, like a lot of young players. I know for definitely the Adelaide clubs, and I mean it's probably the same for the WA clubs as well. And I heard someone talk about it today on the radio. They're saying it's really hard for our South Australian and our WA clubs to attract talent unless they are homegrown talent. So
I don't have an issue with that though, Jamie.
I know, but the big lights of Melbourne always bring people in, which is nice. But when it comes to people like Keziah Pickett, Adelaide are going to go. Port Adelaide are going to go hard next year for him.
Yep. You've got your 3 first rounders ready for him.
Oh, get out of here, you dickhead!
I want 2.
You're ridiculous. You speak about Gouds and not getting a game, and as a kicks shockingly, and then you're coming here with harder than Dodoro at the moment.
Well, he's kicked 40 goals in his last 2 seasons, premiership player, hard as nuts. Probably got none of those on your list.
It's not worth 3.
I want 3. We'll start at 3. We'll work our way there. But Luke Jackson, perfect example, comes over to the Big Smoke, wants to go back to Perth. Mate, if I was a Melbourne club, honestly, I'd be very reluctant to draft anybody outside of Melbourne.
So you're saying bring it back to being more insular in your state?
I would be. Because you put all this development into a young gun, and I'm saying he's a young gun because that's what he is. He's a young and he's a gun. Is he perfect? Far from it. And you set your squad up around these type of players for your future, and he decides to go back. It just throws everything into haywire. Like, so now we're going to try and find somebody. No, I would. The chances of you losing a player like that, and Pickett's another one. If he decides to go, I'd be pissed. I'd be really pissed off.
Are you saying...
So I'd be reluctant not to pick him from the other side of the country.
Do you want drafting zones again? Do you want drafting zones again?
I don't want drafting zones, but just maybe get a bit smarter off them. If they're going to be any site that they could be a flight risk, wouldn't pick them.
Yep.
No, drafting zones don't work because then you can put kids into drafting zones and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, so they can manipulate like they did back in the 90s and the 2000s.
But even like with the draft coming up, there's so many... academies. I just scrap the whole lot.
That's so hard.
Scrap the whole lot. Have father son. That's it. Because it's too much bullshit.
But then, Peps, you're talking about academies. You're talking about you're getting pissed that you're going to lose Luke Jackson because you put so much time, money, and effort into training him. Same as Cozzy. That's what academies are.
Well, don't have them.
So just let them go.
Well, it's a bullshit rule anyway. Because you could. So a perfect example is Mac Andrew. Melbourne had him as their academy player.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decided to change the ruling around that, no, you can't get an academy player outside of the first round of the draft. We lost him for that.
Yeah.
It's not right. And that was all because of Jamara Ugle-Hagan.
Mm-hmm.
Just, well, once again, you build someone up and someone can change the rules like that. It's no good. It doesn't, no club wins out of this at all.
Yep. So you're saying open slather on all of those young players, no academies,
no academies.
No look into what an AFL system looks like before they get there. They don't get a chance to expose themselves as young players.
Why? Well, what's the point? What's the point of working someone with an academy player?
Because you want to give them exposure before they get taken. You want to give them exposure because they get to the Queen's birthday weekend, get the tackle in the first 3 seconds of their game, and
geez, you're pulling all that low hanging fruit again with Watsy. Come on, mate.
But you're not allowing the players to develop when they're already AFL there. The academy allows them time to talk about, get ready for the AFL system, what it's like to be in the AFL system, and then they get traded by the club. No, but it's not that way because you can put all this work into this kid and you've got no guarantee you're going to get him. Under your rule. If you don't pick him up, that's absolutely he's free range. He's free range after that.
No, he's free range in the first round.
Well, you just got to match him, give him like a 7th round pick.
But then what's the whole point of nurturing this person if you don't get anything in return?
It still gives you first dibs. It just means you have to come up with 150 points or whatever it is to pick him up.
That's not right. It's not right. And you know what? I agree, mate. Bring back the reserves and bring back the underage teams. I wholeheartedly agree. Once again, what's old is new again. the under 18 comp at the moment is a farce. That needs a revamp completely.
Yep. I could say that. Yep. And I do agree. Reserves need to have need to be aligned again.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind. No, most clubs are. I don't know how it works with yours in the Adelaide.
Yeah, no, we are. We're aligned, properly aligned.
So you have a Port Adelaide team. Do Adelaide have a reserves team?
Yes, they do.
In the Waffle, they don't have a West Coast team. They don't have a West Coast team and a Fremantle reserves team, do they?
They have Peel and
that shouldn't be right.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be that way. I think it's yeah.
We never used to have Peps. We never used to.
Casey, I don't want to change that. That works.
We never used to Peps until the last few years. It used to be you'd have Port Adelaide players playing across the league, playing against each other every weekend, and you never had a united team. So I like that. But yeah, I don't know. Peps, I'm excited to see what 2023 brings, and I'm excited for the draft because I like to see. I don't care about. It's not really bad Peps, but I don't care about the kids really. I just care about who gets traded to where. That's what I love that. I love trades.
I do love that. Who is a trade? Craigie from the US, he's bringing a bit of NFL type of contract work over to us right now. He's bloated this one in the chat pretty much. Do you reckon that the initial contract should be a bit longer?
From Peps is
certainly not trying to turn into the AFL and the NFL. Well, we're virtually there anyway. But first round NFL picks us onto a 4-year contract with a 5th-year option. Yeah, but thing is though, Craig, first-year contract. What's a first-year contract for an NFL player? How many millions?
Yeah, 20
Doesn't
mil.
work like that with us, unfortunately. It's a first-round pick gets around about a base of 90, 95
It's less than that.
grand.
No, it's less than
grand.
that.
Yeah, it might even be 80s.
Yeah, 60s, 80s. Yeah.
Yep, with $4 grand a game for their. You can't do that.
Although Peps, you'd be a fan of the first part, which is signing up drafts to a longer deal at the start.
I don't have an
not
issue
a 2
with
year.
that. I don't have an issue with signing them up for maybe 3 years for their first contract, but after maybe the first 2, negotiating the financial component of it.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind something along those lines because you have players for 2 years. Now you've got this pre-trading. And also when it comes to the free agency, I get pretty peeved, I must admit, where players, I think I mentioned this last week, how players can choose what club they want to go to.
Yes, it has swung that much.
That I don't like it. If the clubs can't go, you know what, we'll give you want to trade, that's great, but we'll get the best trade for you. You want out, that's fine. If they're in contract and they want to leave, certainly, we will find what's best for the club, not for you. If they're outside of contract, we'll do whatever we can. I just think there's no enticement for the club to give decent contracts to people when they know that they want to go and they want to pick the club that they want to go to. Now, let's just say, perfect example. If Carl Amon can't get a trade to Hawthorn, what happens then?
He stays.
Port Adelaide should go, you know what? If you want to leave, that's great. We will try to get something with Hawthorn, but if we can't, we will go with whoever's better. The player can still go no. They still can go no, but we will see what we can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think we need to. You can't have all the carrot. You can't have all the good apples, my friends. You have to maybe have a bad one once in a while. I don't know.
Fair enough.
But no, it's going to be a cracking couple of weeks as well too.
They're great. Craig Jones. West Coast have a team for you. Have Peel.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Jonesy. Hey, J-Dog. It's been a long year. It's been a hard year. It's been a bit of a grind this year. With your kids, my kids. It's been a challenge some nights to get on at a specific time. We had to push it back by half an hour.
Change days sometimes.
Change days, change times, etc. But I'm a bit better because I've got my kids are a little bit older. You've got 2 young ones. I can't thank you enough. Like, seriously, there's nothing better than every single week tuning in with one of your best mates to just talk shit about a game that we love. And I wouldn't do this. If I had to do this by myself, I wouldn't. I can only do it with this guy because he is a superstar. He hasn't told me if he's going on next year just yet, so there might be a contract announcement. His people and my people will talk shortly.
No, you've got some behaviour clauses in mind that I'm not happy with.
Yeah, exactly. Like actually behaving. But I can't thank you enough because I know just you especially for the Thursday night when we do our tipped out. It's not you can't always make it, but you're always sending me your tips through, and I really appreciate that. And I love you like a brother. And I've always said, I might have started this show, but it's our show. We do this. That's why you're the co-host with the most. And just from everybody who's listening to us right now and everybody who's on the stream right now, from all of us, thank you for being the J-Dog, because you are a superstar and you are the main reason why everybody listens to this every single week. So,
thanks, Peps.
If you don't mind, I would like to give you nice little round of applause. Just a nice little round of applause. And then I'd like to go with a bit of Port Adelaide's chances for next year.
All right, Peps, thank you. Back to you.
Back to me now.
Peps, thank you for making this year very easy. I've texted you on lots and lots of times. I'm like, Peps, I can't do the show tonight. Kids are mental. I can't make it. Or I can't do this. Or I'm on holiday. I'm sorry. I can't make the show. I've got no Wi-Fi here. So thank you for being so flexible in that. And thank you to listeners for also understanding that. Sometimes I've loved to do 2 shows, but that's just not possible a lot this year with 2 little ones. But thank you for all your attention, giving a shit to both Peps and I, the private messages off chat as well. And Peps, thank you as a host for indulging me in my crazy ideas where I said halfway through the year, I said, scrap the notes. We are going free range. We're not talking about segments anymore. We're not spending hours doing notes anymore and talking about things and analysing games. I said we're just going to watch and free run.
Yeah, we do have... I just want to let you know, we do have a run sheet. But we used to be
pages.
It used to be pages. And then we just went bullet points and just let it flow organically. And it's made a massive difference because we can literally start a show 20 minutes before we're about to go live and go, right, what are we talking about? Bang, 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 bang. And we just know it too. So
it's been great, Peps, sharing that with you. And thank you for listeners as well. I know we've had some people in there who have had some things going on in their lives. They've shared it with us. And having, as I said, all the superstars that have joined us from almost day dot 5 years ago, Peps. I know our listeners, it's a small group, but it is growing. So if you continue to share the word and everyone out there share it with us, with your friends and everything, Peps and I actually really do appreciate it. We try and keep this show ad-free. We don't want the fluff. We don't want to talk about bloody VPNs and stuff like that because every other show does it.
No manscaping.
We don't want to talk about it. We just want to talk 40 for an hour.
Sponsored by Jim Beam, zero sugar cola.
We'll do our own shit ads, but we try and keep all that stuff completely out because we don't want that. So thank you for sharing and listening to us every week.
Exactly right. So on behalf of everybody, that's it. We're done for 2022. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back for 2023.
We will.
We will. J-Dog?
Yeah, we will.
Yep, beautiful. We'll get the contract out to you right away.
Thank you.
And your show's being advertised. Craigie Wessels. We're being advertised in the Grand Canyon. I absolutely love it. So for everybody, for the final time, I'm your host, Chris Pepper. And more importantly, the co-host with the most, the number 9 ranked Ironman in his age group many, many years ago, but an all-round great-looking bloke, and Jaden Stevenson's dad, Jamie Wallis. How do you want your footy?
I'm a tear to my eye for the final time. But Peps, I want my 2022 AFL season lace out.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great trade period. Hope your team wins. And we look forward to maybe throwing an episode or 2 before the end of the year, maybe with some roundups and some end of year.
We
will be back. We will be back.
See you, listeners. Have a great night.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Place Out. Head over to iTunes and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Hey, remember, join us every single Tuesday night on our Facebook page with yours truly, Christopher Pepper, and the co-host with the most, Jamie Wallis, giving you your footy how you want it. Place out.